2.
This week I met with a friend of mine. He always jokes that he's old enough to be my father, but he seems almost like my contemporary. And for the first time, he shared with me some stories about his childhood that were incredibly powerful. When he was 6 years old, his mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he was taken out of his family, and he became part of the foster child system. He talks about how much he longed to hold and protect her, to take care of his mother. But as a 6-year-old child, there was nothing that he could do. As he grew up, there was a lot of darkness in his life. It was very hard to be in the foster care system. But Grace Cathedral was a real light for him. It was a place where he felt known and loved and cared for. As he became a teenager, it was a place where he was challenged intellectually. But then he grew up, and in his 20s, he heard a famous theologian named Gordon Kaufman delivering a series of lectures. And his conclusion after hearing the lectures was that all meaning is made by human beings. And so the childhood faith that he had and cherished, he just could no longer hold on to it in the same way. And so he became a bit of a pilgrim. And pilgrimage is an idea that he absolutely loved. The idea of going to other places so that we could better understand ourselves and our connection to the universe. Eventually he came to understand pilgrimage as something that we do to understand our inner life. One of my favorite poems is a poem by Wislawa Szymborska called Clouds. I like it because it describes the inconstancy that we all experience. This is how it goes. I'd have to be really quick to describe clouds. A split second's enough for them to start becoming something else. Their trademark? They don't repeat a single shape, shade, pose, arrangement. Unburdened by memory of any kind, they float easily over the facts. What on earth could they bear witness to? They scatter whenever something happens. Compared to clouds, life rests on solid ground, practically permanent, almost eternal. Next to clouds, even a stone seems like a brother, someone you can trust, while they're just distant, flighty cousins. Let people exist if they want, and then die one after another. Clouds simply don't care what they're up to down there. And so their haughty fleet cruises smoothly over your whole life and mine, still incomplete. They aren't obliged to vanish when we're gone. They don't have to be seen while sailing on. This poem reminds me that everything changes. Our life is a kind of cloud, and that is part of the reason why we have to be pilgrims. Because the kind of faith that works in one stage of our life may not be appropriate at a later stage. My friend, who I first started talking about, entered a stage of his life when his mother died. She had her funeral here at Grace Cathedral. And after the service, no one told him to, but he walked over to the urn that held her ashes, and he picked it up, and he carried it in the procession to go and place her in the church columbarium. And finally, he realized his dream, that he could protect her and care for her and look after her. My friend is now engaged on the greatest pilgrimage of all as he prepares for his own death. And now, as he looks back on everything through his whole life, he realizes how much God has loved him and nurtured him and cared for him, that God has protected him in the most difficult times of his life. I don't know where you are in your pilgrimage, how close you feel to God, but my hope is that you understand that there is a new day that is dawning. There's a new opportunity that you have to feel a sense of connection to the holy, to the divine. My name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral here in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching. More good news.